By day, he's a wealthy elite driving a Ferrari. By night, he's quietly slipping into his neighbors' homes. Being a fellow member of the wealthy elite himself, he knows exactly where these rich folks stash their most precious belongings. Just like that Patek Philippe ad says, you never really own a Patek Philippe, you merely look after it for the next generation. So there's really no harm in him looking after it for a while. He smoothly pockets a stack of cash, completely unfazed even when the alarm goes off. This upscale neighborhood has its own patrol team and private security. With crime rates virtually non-existent for years, he just needs to put on a little show and he'll be fine. He grabs a bathrobe and pretends he just woke up and came downstairs. A group of officers is already waiting outside his door.
Hey guys, everything okay?
Good evening, sir. You live here?
Yeah, sure do.
The patrol officer immediately believes he's the homeowner of this mansion. The officer seems puzzled though, the house is on the vacation watch list. So why is there a Honda parked on the street? And why are the lights still on
I
inside?
told them to pull it into the garage before we left.
So you are going on vacation?
Oh yeah, bright and early tomorrow morning. My wife must have given you the wrong date when she called it in.
No worries. Have a great trip.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
After the patrol leaves, he finally breathes a sigh of relief. This is his second time robbing this particular mansion. Sure, there are valuable luxury items here, but more importantly, he wants revenge against his neighbor through theft. The reason he became a thief is because everything in his life was stolen from him by the people closest to him. His name is Cooper. Right after graduation, he landed a decent job at a major corporation. Initially, Cooper lived in a modest apartment, but he believed he'd eventually make good money. Then this young, handsome guy met a girl, they got married and had kids. Through his hard work, by the time he became a father, he'd successfully moved into a new home. As his professional skills improved over the years, he upgraded to an even nicer house and a new car. After more than a decade of grinding it out, his life goals were finally paying off. Mansion, luxury car, the works. Just when Cooper thought he'd achieved everything he'd worked for, he came home to find his wife in bed with his best friend in the bed he'd paid for. Getting cheated on was bad enough, but since the kid wasn't going to live with him, the house went to his ex-wife. Now he had to pay child support on time every month, plus cover the mortgage payments for his ex-wife and her new man. In other words, the house and kid went to his ex-wife, but the mortgage payments went to Cooper. At that moment, the other man came over and invited him to have steaks in the backyard. Cooper couldn't believe that in the house he'd worked so hard to buy, he was now the outsider. He turned down the invitation and drove away in his Ferrari. For a successful professional like him, there were still plenty of places to find solace. However, the professional network he'd built over decades was also quickly stolen from him. Only to inform him of the reason for his termination, apparently he'd had an inappropriate relationship with an employee. But this employee wasn't even in his department, and they'd never even met. Upper management used the company's anti-fraternization policy as an excuse to fire Cooper. While he was out of the office, they had HR steal all his client files and confiscated his company capital account, which contained all of Cooper's savings. Unable to fight the corporate executives, he had to accept the termination. But he didn't give up. He interviewed at several companies, only to discover he'd somehow signed a non-compete agreement that prevented any company from hiring him.